Hello, football fans. Well, the home stretch got started with week number 13 of the NFL season, and what a week it was. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. The Packers going through turmoil, terrible season, too many mishaps all around. And Rodgers definitely not been himself at quarterback. There's a lot that we have to try to get used to regarding this season, but there is still one constant out there. Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. And I'll be serious. When the Bears were up 17-3, I went, well, this is payback. Gotta be. I mean, it's in Chicago, and you know the Bears and their fans wanted a pound of flesh for Rodgers. I still own you line from last year. Even though now Bears fans haven't admitted that what he said was right, but come on, they still had to be kind of up in arms about it. So I figured, well, they're getting their pound of flesh. But the Packers came back. Christian Watson, that boy. He's a godsend. He's amazing. He's been tearing it up, catching everything. He even ran for a touchdown. I think it was 46 yards. Yeah, he's definitely a guy. And we drafted him. See what happens when you draft a receiver, Packers. That's all I ask. Now we just need to fix things for next year, because I say for next year because we're alive. With this, we're still alive with this win, but it's only mathematically, realistically, it's about. So, of course, the division is officially out, but we're not that far behind. We're not that far behind for a spot, though. We have a bye this week, so that might complicate things. Yeah. So really, we gotta focus a bit on next year, though. We've heard the rumblings regarding the quarterback position. The story is, at least the consensus is, we won't see Jordan Love start until we're officially eliminated. I kind of thought Love was going to start Sunday because we're playing the Bears. What harm could it do? But yeah, so it definitely looks like we'll see Rodgers out there in 2 weeks. It'll go over a week and a half when we're hosting the Rams on Monday Night Football. Ugh. You know, it's around this time where I start to really feel bad for Monday Night Football scheduling, because at least with Sunday Night Football, if a scheduled game for like December doesn't turn out like you want, you can change it. You can't flex Monday games. You can't flex. You cannot flex Monday games. Packers Rams being scheduled for Monday, December 19th for Week 15. Was done because these were two top teams. Rams were defending champions. Packers are always a contender. Have Aaron Rodgers. It was made because, well, it was figured to be a marquee matchup for playoff positioning, possibly number one seed in the conference. Instead, it seems like these two teams are playing for the draft. As bad as, and here's the shocking thing. If you told me these two teams would have like bad seasons this year, I would have thought you were crazy. But even if I believed it, I would have thought, well, obviously the Rams would be the better of the two anyway. No, as bad as the Packers are this year, the Rams are much worse, and it's mind-boggling what's happening with the Rams. I mean. Some would say the signs were there in week 1, but it's week 1. I mean, yeah, they got punched in the mouth by the Bills. What was supposed to be their big night. You know, they celebrated the rings, the banners up, and they make their debut, and all of a sudden the Bills just punch them in the mouth like that. But even so, it's week 1. That can be easily brushed off with 3 simple words: Super Bowl hangover. And even after that, they kind of had a decent go, but the losing streak happened. They couldn't buy a win. And with the loss this past Sunday to Seattle, They have a losing record. They will officially finish with a losing record. This is their 9th loss this season. Best they can do is 8-9. So they've become the first defending champion to have a Super Bowl, to have a losing record the following year since the Buccaneers did it. Of course, that Dream 02 season, they won the Super Bowl. In 03, they finished. I think I read it was 7-9. But yeah, and even worse, the Rams could be eliminated this week. If they lose, that's it. Speaking of scenarios, of course, Philly and Minnesota entered this past week with the opportunity to quit your playoff spot. Neither happened. Minnesota needed a win and Detroit to lose, and they got their win, a close one, but they beat the Jets. But the Lions decided to make mincemeat out of the Jaguars. As for Philly, they got their big win over the Tennessee Titans, and A.J. Brown got his revenge. They didn't need a lot to happen. They needed quite a few things to happen. And one of the things that happened was a tie between Washington and the Giants. Yeah. We have our second tie this season. It's the 29th since 1974, which was the year that overtime was actually instilled into NFL games. Because before that, it was 4 quarters and that was it. So this is the 29th tie since then. It's the second this year. And yeah, and already has people talking about why are ties? They were like, why are ties in football? I had to be one of the few football fans who actually likes ties. Ties are the monkey wrench in the NFL standings that we need. I'm dead serious, because they cause chaos. They cause a little disorder. The tie, plus the reactions. We all remember the reactions. We all remember Donovan McNabb back in 2008. I didn't know games get tied. He really said that. He actually expected the game to continue to a second overtime or something like that. No, that's not how the NFL works. Regular season games, there's one overtime period, and that's it. But even though I do like ties, I do find it kind of strange that hockey doesn't have ties anymore, but football still does. But I still to this day say that's why they changed the overtime rules. They wanted more ties because I don't know. They have been increasing a little bit more, but yeah. So yeah, Giants and Washington played to a 20-20 draw. So the Eagles needed Seattle and the Niners to lose, and neither happened. Well, the Niners won, but they lost Jimmy Garoppolo. The original story was for the season, but now they're saying he's not going to need surgery, and he might be back for the playoffs. So, should they make it? So, yeah. Patrick Mahomes still can't beat Cincy. Amazing. Yeah, Joe Burrow seems to have the Chiefs' number. They won 27-24. That's their third straight. This is their third straight win overall against the Chiefs, and that does include the monumental AFC Championship win at Arrowhead last year in overtime. So yeah, Cincy kind of has Joe Burrow's number. Cincy kind of has Patrick Mahomes' number. It's uncanny. As a result, the Bills took the number 1 spot with their Thursday win. Of course, this was the week that Deshaun Watson returned, but thankfully, a group of other players for the Browns became the story. The defense and the special teams, all three of the Browns touchdowns, defense and special teams. It was crazy. I remember I tried to get the Browns defense on fantasy because they were playing Houston. And somebody beat me to it, damn it. But I'm in the playoffs. Well, I'm in the playoffs in one league. In one league, the playoffs start this week. I'm in the playoffs in one league. I officially clinched the spot in another league. And hopefully I'll be in my way to the playoffs in 3 others. I'm in 5 leagues. But, so yeah. Dallas blasted Indy in Sunday Night Football, and Tampa. That was kind of frightening. Well, not frightening, but that was kind of crazy because the Saints They dominated 3 quarters, if not 3.5, and it definitely looked like that game was over. It definitely looked, and had the Saints won, the NFC South would have been interesting. Now the Bucks were still going to be in first place, but it would have been 5-7. At 5-7, Saints would have been right behind them at 5-8. The Falcons, they lost to Pittsburgh. They still would have been right behind them at 5-8. The Panthers were off that week, but they would have picked up a half game in the standings. They would have been a full game out at 4-8. But instead, Brady pulled a couple rabbits out of his hat, as he's known to do, and Tampa took it. So the stranglehold in that deliciously bad division has increased for Tampa. Now they're 6-6. They swept New Orleans, which has to make Brady feel good. They swept New Orleans, and now their lead is, I think it's a game and a half now. And they kind of have a chance to really increase on that because the Falcons and the Saints are both off this upcoming week. And Tampa is headed to Santa Clara to face the Jimmy G-less Niners. Tampa should beat them. They really should, because that team's lost. The Niners are lost without Jimmy. So Week 13 was pretty fruitful and pretty crazy, but again, no playoff spots clinched. I'll get to that in another video. So anyway, that's my recap of Week 13. For Week 14 starts tomorrow with the Rams playing the Raiders. So yeah, the Rams season could end tomorrow. Yeah. And that's something. The Raiders can outlast the Rams. The Raiders won their third straight game. That was against the other LA team, the Chargers. But that was at Vegas. That was at Vegas, which was big. So it was the first meeting between those two at Allegiant since the memorable regular season finale last year. We all know the one, the crazy game where the winner was in, the loser was out, and if they tied, and the teams tied, they would both get the last 2 spots remaining, while Pittsburgh would be out. So Pittsburgh needed somebody to win. We all remember the game. Pittsburgh needed somebody to win that game, and it went to overtime late. But the Raiders won. Raiders won in the final seconds of overtime. So yeah. But the Raiders took it to the Chargers again. So Raiders won 3 in a row. They've won 3 straight. They're 5-7. They actually have a shot now. They're not that close. They're not that far behind. And this could be 4 in a row. Ooh boy. But anyway, like I said, Rams and Raiders kicks off Week 14 on Thursday Night Football. Some other games, like I said, the Packers are off, but another important game is Vikings and Lions. Vikings beat the Lions; they win the division. Eagles play the Giants, and on Thursday Night Football, on Sunday Night Football, it's the Chargers and the Dolphins. That game actually got flexed. Speaking of flexed, this news broke a few days ago. The Giants Commanders rematch in DC, that got flexed to Sunday. That got flexed to Sunday Night Football on for Week 15. So that should be interesting. But yeah, Sunday Night Football this week is Dolphins Chargers, and the Monday night game is Patriots Cardinals. Oh boy. But anyway, so that's our recap of Week 13. If you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe if you want more. My story on Week 13 will be in the description below. Check it out when you can, and I'll be back. I'll be back just a little bit later today to announce this week's playoff scenarios and get the playoff pictures set. Sorry, I was kind of at a loss for words there, but yeah, I'll explain how things look in the playoff picture with now 5 weeks left, and announce the scenarios. So stay tuned.